welcome to General Shop Safety. In this video we're going to discuss hand tools, fasteners, some of the chips we have to deal with, some of the tooling, raw material, and some of the parts we produce. In addition to this video, we're going to follow up with departmental videos to further go into detail on what we have to encounter day to day. First thing you want to do, keep in mind, watches, rings should be removed before we dive into the machines. We want to make sure we're using the proper tool for the job. We don't want to mix metric and standard tools. We want to make sure tools aren't modified, such as this. We want to make the fasteners we're dealing with, we want to make sure they're in good shape. Here's some examples of some poor fasteners here. Could cause knuckle busters. Also cause you to slip and hit another sharp tool that's in the machine. You got to remember, it's very tight quarters in some of these machines. You got a lot of sharp tools around, so you really have to take a good approach, a slow approach, to make sure you're getting at that tool in the safest manner. Another thing you want to keep in mind, some of these tools they're heavy, they're sharp. If you were to drop these tools, your natural reaction is to try and grab it. That could cause a pretty good cut on maybe the palm of your hand, maybe your wrist. Let the tool fall. Will be much better for it. Another thing you want to keep in mind, a lot of our tools come out to the line in wax, whether it comes from the tool maker or our tool room. We have a wax spot. Sometimes it's hard to get that wax off the tool. You don't want to pull that, because what can happen is as you pull that off, you can rub your finger right across the sharp cutting edge. So you want to take something such as a scale. You want to slowly move that wax off to expose your cutting edges. Okay, and again, if you were to drop this, you let it fall. As I mentioned, the proper tools for the job is important, not only for safety but for actual function. You don't want to, for example, take this drill bit, jam it in this bushing which isn't the actual fit. What could happen is your hand could slip and run across that cutting edge, either while installing the drill or removing it. Here's an example of a nice slip fit. Slips right in, you tighten down, and you got good tension. Not only are you going to be safer, but your tool is going to function better. Moving into chip management. First thing you want to watch for, we use our rags for a lot of stuff out there, comes in contact with a lot of chips. They can get hung up on these rags. You can come back and you could wipe your arm, even your face, and this rag, actually this rag that has the chip embedded in it, it's almost like a hidden razor in there. So you want to take caution in how you choose your rags and make sure that they're chip free. Removing these chips from the actual machine as they produce and they cut, the tools want to sometimes cause the chips want to nest around the tools. What you need to do, instead of going in with your hand and grabbing them, you want to use a long pair of pliers that we have provided. Sometimes we even have some hooks that are made to pull the chips out. You do not want to drag your hand across a chip such as this, because they're sharp as a razor. For cleaning filters, if you have to submit your hand to clean the oil filter, you want to use a shoulder-length glove such as this to protect your hand not only from the chips that you might encounter and all the metal fines, but also that oil. You don't want that oil running all the way up your arm. If you don't have these supplies, let your supervisor know and we'll provide it for you. Our raw material. Stocking up hex bars can be challenging. You have to get them in to set right. We want to make sure that the chamfer end is installed to the outside or to the operator's side. So if the operator were to run his hand across the edge of the bar, he would run it across the chamfer side. The other side of the bar, it has very sharp edges and it can pose a problem, also cause you to cut the palm of your hand. Another thing to watch for are material bands. From time to time they may get caught in between bundles of material and may be sticking out. These are very, very sharp, jagged edges. You want to let your material handler know if you guys find any out online where they have a strap sticking out such as this, and then we can get that removed. You don't want to try and pull that out yourself because it's under a lot of weight. Your hand may slip and you may cut yourself pretty bad. Moving into some of the products that we manufacture, such as our slitter wheel right here. This is a razor sharp, and it's just that. It's as sharp as a razor. You don't want to make contact with that, as you could cut yourself. You also want to handle it in such a manner where it's away from your palm too. So again, if any of these products, if you drop them, you let them fall. Don't try to catch them. Watch sharp edges, such as this part. You got a counter bore that comes out to a diameter that's basically a sharp edge. Sometimes it's a practice to try and feel, make sure we don't have a burr. You have to take caution that you don't cut yourself, as that is very sharp. Threads. Gauging threads can be a challenge. Sometimes the customer won't allow a very deep chamfer on an outside thread. As you're trying to screw it into a thread ring gauge, you may get a hang up and your fingers may pass along a sharp edge. You can also cut yourself. This concludes the first part of our video. We'll follow up, as mentioned earlier, for each department to go into better detail on how we could guard against finger lacerations and pinch points.